Morning everyone, so I'm Hayley. I'm taking over Instagram today as part of Mental Health Awareness Week. So I thought I would just show you a little bit about what I'm doing, how I'm coping with it, and obviously you guys can submit your questions. Hi everyone, so obviously we're doing stuff for Mental Health Awareness Week, so I just thought I would talk to you a little bit about routine. So the really important thing is to kind of keep your routine and not become nocturnal. So getting up at a fairly normal time, going to bed at a reasonable time, not sleeping in till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's really important for your mental health to have regular sleep, and you guys should be looking at 8 hours or more, studies show, for young people in order for them to be productive. Today I'm taking my office outside. I think it's really important to have a different change of scenery, and obviously as you can see the weather's really nice today. So this is my little setup for the day. So I'm just going to be sat outside in my garden. I've done my first call already, so that was a good 45 minutes. So now what I'm doing is I'm just having a little break and I'm going to make myself a coffee. So as I said, I'm just taking a little break. I've got my coffee. And I've had some breakfast. It's really important that you continue to, eat well, eat good foods, try and avoid obviously the junk food. It's my dogs now coming to say hello. I just wanted to signpost you all really to the fact that the Wellbeing team are now on Instagram. So welcome, Wellbeing team at Lewes. Amanda Burnside, who's one of the Wellbeing and Progress mentors, is now looking after the account. So please go and give them a follow. You are able to still access all the Wellbeing teams. So please make sure you pop along, go and say hi, and obviously you can DM them if you would like to make contact or are concerned or worried about anything. Don't forget to submit your questions on one of the earlier stories, and I'm going to be answering your questions throughout the day. Make sure you get outside, beautiful today, so get that vitamin D. So before my next meeting, I've got one more opportunity to answer another question. So any tips on how not to be overwhelmed studying or when you've got lots of work doing? So for me, this is something that is a stressor. So I do get quite anxious and my head often feels quite fuzzy and I don't really know what to prioritise. So for me, lists are really important and they allow me to kind of prioritise according to deadlines, and you guys should try and apply that to your studies with assessment deadlines. For me, it just allows me to see clearly what needs to be done first and what I can kind of prioritise and what do I not need to prioritise. I'm quite a procrastinator, so I'll often find lots of other things to do. So I'll do things like empty the dishwasher or go and do something fun like Instagram rather than doing the key priorities. So my bosses won't be very pleased to hear that, but I am getting better at using lists. And it's still important to do other things and to take regular breaks, as I said in a previous story. So giving myself 45 minutes to complete part of a task or the whole task, and then making sure I have a suitable break. But yeah, lists are my number. So this question relates to podcasts. I did briefly mention that I'd listened to some podcasts. So podcasts isn't something I've ever really before engaged with, but just found myself wanting something different to music. And although I love music and I love doing exercise to music, I wanted something that would help me kind of switch off a little bit. So I found the podcast by Fern Cotton. She's got a podcast company called Happy Place. They're really good. And she releases a podcast every Monday and it's got a new celebrity guest. So the one I really liked was the one with Russell Brand, who has sort of kind of got this spiritual journey going on currently. But his podcast was really, really interesting. And she's also had people from Stereophonics, actresses, actors, other celebrities, and also like wellbeing gurus. And she's also recommended podcasts by GABA. So that's definitely one to check out with wellbeing and meditation. Don't forget the lovely Shelley at Strong Living PT at Desk Workout is doing her live 6-minute stretch every day at 2 o'clock, so go check her out. Right, Stanley, what are we doing at the moment?
We're colouring.
Oh, okay. So what do you think about colouring in?
It's good.
Yeah? Why is it good?
Because you can colour in anything.
Yeah. How does it make you feel?
Good.
Yeah? And what are you looking forward to about going back to school? What are you looking forward to?
School.
School? Who do you miss from school?
My friends.
Yeah? Looking forward to seeing them all?
Yeah.
Motivation is obviously really important, and during lockdown it can become quite easy to become unmotivated due to the amount of time you have on your hands or distractions, the pressure that you might be feeling currently. A key thing for me is having clear goals. So if you're a secondary student, obviously your goal might be university or employment, but I think having a set of goals, so long-term, medium-term and short-term goals are super important. Long-term goals might be your goal that's sort of in a year's time, or something that you've been currently working towards that you may not have already associated as a goal. So for a lot of you, it could be university and your entry criteria to university and getting certain grades. Your medium-term goals are going to be things with a shorter time span, so possibly a few months, so between 3 to 6 months maybe, and these might be smaller things that you need in order to achieve your long-term goal. Short-term goals are going to be the ones that are kind of key. They're underpinning all of your medium and your long-term goals. So if you don't get them right or don't achieve them, then the rest is not going to be achievable. So nice and short, something you can achieve in a week or a month. I always find that if you write down your goals, and it might be that you do journaling or you want to write them in your notes in your phone, but I think it gives you clear focus. But you need to almost work backwards. So set your long-term, then your medium, and then your short. Finally, with setting goals, you need to make sure they're smart. So make sure they're specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and they've got a time frame to them. Following that principle, you'll be able to make sure you set goals that you actually can achieve. Another really good question is about being active and staying active, and how difficult that has been in lockdown. Now, you should do around 10,000 steps a day, which when you're confined to a house can be actually really difficult. One big thing with the government guidelines originally with lockdown was that we were allowed to go out and do some daily exercise, such as walking the dog or go for a walk. So it's really important that you are doing that once a day. And now that the guidelines have relaxed, it means we can do more. When you're doing your daily exercise, obviously it's been quite difficult because places like seafronts have been quite busy. So try and choose your walk to be somewhere that's a bit more secluded and not so busy and allows you to socially distance. Other really good ideas were things like Joe Wick's PE. I thought it was going to be like a PE class when I first did it, but actually it was a proper HIIT workout, so that was really good. So I have continued that. Other ideas could be such as the Couch to 5K app. And don't forget that exercise doesn't have to be, full on, heart racing, sweaty. It can be going out for a bike ride in this nice weather, walking your dog. It could be even cleaning. So if you follow Mrs. Hinch, then obviously cleaning can actually burn a lot of calories, and you'd be surprised about the amount of steps you do sort of walking around, hoovering and that kind of thing. So just get creative about the ways that you can get active, or even try a new hobby. I'm actually going to sign off for the day. I've done all my work now, all my meetings are done, so I'm going to go spend some time with the family. But I've really enjoyed taking over the Instagram today and talking to you about mental health awareness, different ways you can support yourself or support others. But keep up the good work, you guys are doing great. Stay positive, and remember to look after your mind and your body.